Simon was scared of the long corridor in his basement. The long, dark hallway that led to a door in his garage. Garage where the window was always slightly open for ventilation, too slight to ever realistically cause an issue, but if faced with an opponent of enough spare time, would easily be open enough for the intruder to enter. Simon was scared of this possibility, the slight, realistically implausible chance of an intruder, or perhaps not even an intruder, something else, something supernatural. Some tall, slim, dark creature, sharp teeth and an ironically threatening smile. Something undocumented of, unheard of, never even spoken of outside of fun. A non-threat. Or perhaps an intruder. Simon was scared of this hallway that led directly to his room, where he intentionally chose for his room to be in his 4-bedroom house. Simon was worried that out of the thousands of other people in the city, he was the chosen victim of the motiveless killer, coming in with the sole intent of pure murder. A killer who ignores all possibilities of home security, of civil repercussions, ready to enact pure sin upon an unknown civilian. But how much is Simon to blame? After all, it is very easy to think of such scenarios, no matter how bizarre or unlikely. It takes no effort to imagine, to believe. It is almost a fear that doesn't exist. Such a superficial fear that sparks out of nowhere, with no pretext, no warning. Fully unprovoked fear that ruins Simon's every evening. And he was aware of this, as aware as if he were watching himself, perhaps in a television show or a documentary, watching his actions, his thoughts, not as himself, but as an observer. Simon was scared of this hallway, opening his bedroom door and seeing a timid homeless man peeping through a slightly open basement door, scouting the house he'd most likely broken into for scraps of food or valuables to steal and sell. Simon was afraid of the reaction of this intruder, who now had become aware of being seen. Yet, Simon was afraid of how the intruder would sprint, how Simon would freeze at his door. Simon thought of how the intruder's knife would drift closer and closer towards him as he stood there, still, relinquishing his body. Simon became aware of how the knife would pierce into his vital organs, penetrating the epidermis of his skin, bursting arteries, puncturing muscles, boring through the nervous system, and finally entering his heart. Simon understood how the intruder's body would slam his lifeless corpse onto the floor from the sheer force of his approach, and how the blood would uncontrollably spew from his body across his room. Simon understood how the intruder would not cease, repeatedly sewing the knife back into his chest, leaving his entire carcass covered in blood, cleaving his body into an unrecognizable mass of butchered flesh.
Bro, what the fuck are you talking about? What, are you a fucking schizo now? What does this mean? You ghost me for 3 weeks, and you tell me whatever the fuck this is, I couldn't give less of a shit. You've been ghosting me for 3 weeks, haven't responded me to give me back my fucking $170 knife that you keep in your room for no fucking reason. I don't know what you're doing with it. I'll fucking come over there if I have to. I'm not letting this go on for a fucking another month, 2 more months. I couldn't give left. This is shit. I'll go over there and fucking take it myself.